All right, we'll get ourselves going here. Couple of items just to cover off before we get going. Thank you, everybody out there for joining in for our discussion and little session on variant today. Everybody is on mute, so if you do have questions as we're going through the presentation, there is a question and answer spot where you can just put your questions in, and we'll try and get to them as quick as possible. Either answer them with a discussion or just through the panel. So it all depends on what the question, how difficult the question will be to answer. So yeah, let's get going here. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about variant. So variant is a product that's been developed by SolidCAD. It is a web-based configurator that is developed through Autodesk Forge, and it's developed to streamline your design to manufacturing process. So able to use your existing inventor information that you have in engineering to bring it into variant and share that throughout the company to help you be a little bit more productive. So web-based, so there's no install. As long as you have an internet access and a device, whether it be a cell phone or a laptop, whatever you have, you have access to variant and the configurator. Improve your sales cycle times, so being able to be on site with a customer and walking through a configuration and get them a price and a quote right when you're talking to your customer is going to give them a great experience. Get them a professional quote, so whatever you want your quotes to look like, and we'll go through a little bit of that as we take a look. We do have an integration with ERP systems and Autodesk Fusion 360 Manage, which is the PLM product. We'll go through a little bit of that integration today and show you how that works. So, and also it uses the inventor iLogic. So if you are familiar with iLogic in the engineering standpoint to creating some of those configurable items within engineering, we can use that information to just bring down into the sales group to help with your sales team. So once again, we did talk a little bit about Fusion Manage. What is Fusion Manage? It's a PLM product to help automate your processes and your bill of materials. Gives you a collaborative environment for product changes and tracking revisions and those types of things through the product lifecycle. So we're going to see how we've integrated that into variant to give you a kind of configure all the way through to sales, through to production type workflow. So, all right. So let's take a look at variant here today. So this is the variant interface. So product listings over on the left-hand side. So as you can see, we've got a number of different products and companies we're working with. So it's not just about building play sets or trailers. Number of different applications that we have here that we can work with customers on. So let's go through and actually create a configuration. So as I go through and change my configuration options, you're going to notice that they update automatically in the browser for me. So do I want the jockey on or off? So right now the jockey is off. I'm going to turn the jockey on, and we'll see that it's going to appear on the front. So I know right away exactly what I'm actually going through. Change the duty, whatever I'd like to do. I need a length. So how long is this? So it's telling me I need to be between 500 and 3,000 millimeters. Well, let's say 2,500 millimeters. Am I going to move the fence position? What's the load height? Well, we'll say this is 800. And I'm going to go through and generate this. Now, what's happening when I'm generating this is it's going through and it's sending all this information up to the cloud, and it's creating the configuration and all the deliverables that I'm looking for is what it's doing. So the little minute or so that it's doing that, let's take a look at the interface a little bit more. So I don't have to be an engineering user in order to use this. I can orbit things around and zoom in and zoom out on them. I can pan them around to get a better view. I can measure. So maybe I want to measure how long this tube is from this point all the way to this point. I can get this information just as a regular user. I can look at the model browsing hierarchy. I can select items and they automatically show up in the browser what I've selected. If I want to isolate one of these items, I can. So I'm only looking at that specific one item. Okay, so it's giving the salesperson or your customer or whatever the user is, it's giving them a little bit of flexibility to go through and interrogate the model and get some information where maybe they wouldn't have access to that type of information, but it's very important. Sectioning, if you want to section the item, we can section it off so we can see what's on the inside. Sorry, all our information just came back here with our updated model. Let me go through and just do that section for you again. So, we can section this in half if we want to, or maybe I want to see a little bit further, kind of what is inside this item. So, depending on the complexities of internal components, you can get a lot of this information a lot easier just from doing that section view. I can explode this as well. So if we do want to just explode it apart just to see some of the components, oh, maybe I want to interrogate this component a little bit more, I can do that as well. Okay, so it's giving you a lot of options here that you can go through and just do without being as I said, without being an engineering user and so on. So what type of information did it bring back to us? So as we did, we went through, created this configuration, sent that up to the cloud to configure. It's come back with a number of different things for us. So let's go take a look at a quote. So here's just a quick little detail of the items that we selected. There's a price here for me. If I want to get a nice, a nice looking quote in front of my customer, I can create a PDF quote. This is all customizable and dynamic. So right now I'm logged in as myself. So it puts my information in here. What would you like? Do I want pricing in here? Do I want views? It's going to give me all of this information just with inside a quote that I can now send off to a customer. Okay, I can download the drawings. So if I need to create a 2D drawing, what do I want my customer to have? What type of information do I want to give them? This one is just a little bit of sizing information. It's got 4 different views on it, maybe a little bit of notes attached. If I needed a bill of materials in my drawing with balloons attached, I could have that information as well. Bill of materials. So here's the actual bill of materials that it takes to create this item. So here's the part numbers and descriptions. I can download that into an Excel file if need be. So once I have that as an Excel file, what do I want to do with that? Do I want to take the information? Do I want to sort it? What do I want to do with this information? Do I want to take it and give it to somebody else? Do I want to import it into another system? I have that ability to take this information. I can send this to an ERP. Right now, I'm not connected to an ERP, but we do have the ability to just interrogate directly with an ERP. And I can download this configuration as well. Okay, so when I go through and download the configuration, right now it's giving me all the parts, the assemblies, the drawings, whatever it takes to create this inventor model in the background. I'm getting all of that information. If you don't want to give your customer or your salespeople access to downloading all of the information, they don't need to have access to downloading all the information. If they want just a step file or a DXF, whatever output you would like to give for your customer or your salespeople, we can give them access to that information. This type of information allows you to go through and actually create, maybe there's a little bit of engineering that needs to happen still. We can create that information and download it and then have the engineering group kind of open this up and make any changes they need, kind of that 80-20 rule, right? Design 80%, of this that is configurable, and then 20% custom. So this can get a good majority of the job done for you ahead of time. The last little portion I do want to talk about here is the order configuration button. So when we developed Variant, it wasn't just about taking the engineering data and creating a sales quote or creating the information. It was about developing that process in behind to complete the whole cycle behind it. So sometimes with a lot of different companies, customers will configure something and then they'll send it off to be ordered. It doesn't need to go through an engineering cycle or have somebody look at it. That's kind of what we've developed here, right? So let's take a look. I'm just going to put some information in here. And since I can only do one thing at a time, I'm going to focus on that. It's my phone number, my company name. Perfect. Now, I'm not going to enter any special requests. So I'm just going to leave this for now, but I'm going to describe what special requests, could be. So, for example, if a customer is ordering this and maybe they do want a little bit of a change, right? Maybe they want this thing painted yellow instead of red. They could enter that here as a special request, okay? And I'm just going to hit this order button. Now, what's happening right now is in the background with the integrations that we've written into Variant, there's a number of things happening in the background. So right now, all the parts and pieces and of the assembly and the drawings and everything that we've created here are right now being uploaded into Vault Professional in the background. Okay, so that's being uploaded, it's being entered into Vault, it's all going through and checking all these components in. And since I said there was no special requests ordered, it's going to automatically release that for me with inside Vault Professional. So it's not a work in progress, it's going to release that. And what it's doing is it's communicating back here with Fusion Manage 360, the PLM product. So once I just refresh my screen, we're going to see that the order that I put in is going to show up here. Okay, so here's my order, my Mark Gartner order. It's going to my order details right now. So here it comes through and it gives me a little bit of information, right? Some variant information. It's got some user IDs and so on that we use to connect in through Vault and create all of this information. So the workflow that we're taking a look at right now is, as this is under review with all the information being loaded into Vault Professional in the background and so on, this order is under review. Once all of that information is done being loaded in through Vault Professional and being released, it's going to communicate back into Fusion 360 Manage and say, hey, I'm done. This is now moved from under review to an approved order. Okay, so it's going to follow this workflow. Now, if I said there is additional work to be done, like paint it yellow, or I want different tires, whatever it could be, it would follow this workflow down here. And how that would work in the background is this information would be tracked in the order details, right? So special requests would be listed here. They would also be listed inside Vault Professional and people would be notified, okay? So any engineer that needed to work on this would be notified, and they would go into the product, they would work on it, they would make the changes, they would save it, and then they would manually release that inside Vault Professional. Once they did that, it would follow this workflow to be approved, and then it would come up as an approved order is what it would come in as, okay? So right now, I'm going to let that just work in the background and do the loading and so on, and I'm just going to come back into Variant, just go through a little bit more information, just talk a little bit more maybe about the back end of Variant and some of the things that we've done through that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look at the Asset Manager. So within the Asset Manager, we've loaded a number of different things here. So I can load products. This is where I go to load my products. I can check out orders that I've got that I've submitted, and I have an appearance manager. So the appearance manager will let me go in and just change the way that it looks. So do I want, what company colors do I want? What's my logos? All those types of things. I can customize the interface of Variant to look the way I want it to. The orders tab, once again, if I click on the orders tab, this is going to be all of the orders that I've gone through. If you notice, here's my last one. So if I come back a couple of days later and go, oh, you know what, I want to get that order back, I can just go and reload that order back into the system. And then with products, so let's take a look at maybe just kind of how I can load in a product. So as I said, we've got a number of different products here. We go through and say, add a product. So once I go in and say, add this product, I can go through and enter what my name is, go and select where my project file and drawing files and root files are located. I select the actual files to be uploaded, which include my quote, my inventor model, all that information I load up into the new product here. I'm just going to go through and quickly just go through and maybe edit one. So I'll take a look at this railing just to give you an idea of some of the things that are here. So what it's doing is it's going out when I load that product, and it's grabbing all of the really important kind of property information, and it's pulling it into Variant, and that's what we're using here. So for example, if I look, the parameter name from Inventor it pulls in is something called rail height. Okay, so it's pulling that information in. Now what we've done is we've gone through and added a little bit of logic right here inside Variant as well. So I have the ability not only to use the iLogic and property information from within inside Inventor to load into Variant, I also have the ability to kind of edit and add in some value conditions here within inside Variant. So this value condition is what it's saying is the railing must be between 24 and 60 inches. So what we've done is we've gone through and said, okay, I can be as low as 24, but I can't be more than 60. So this is the logic that we've quickly added in here just to this one parameter. Okay, so as I said, not only do we have the ability to pull what's inside Inventor, we have the ability to do it here as well. Okay, so just going through and adding in materials, I can add more, I can add value conditions, whatever I would like to do with inside Variant. Okay, just going to go back and just check out. I'll just give this a quick refresh just to see if we've got an update within our system here. So there's a lot of work it's doing in the background. So depending on what we have going on, we may have to just take a quick peek here. So this one's still under review. So let's just quickly take a look at kind of what happens here with an actual approved order. So this is an order that was approved. It went through the system. It came back approved. It brought us back a bill of materials. Okay, so the bill of materials from Inventor and from Vault, it pulled that information back here into Fusion Manage 360. Okay, so I can go through and interrogate this bill of materials. I don't have to be a engineering person. I could be a production manager or so on. I could go through and add items into this bill of materials. Maybe there's paint, something else I could add here. I could add a serial number tag, whatever I had access to. They also have access to the same type of kind of viewing data, right? So now I can go through and actually view what was this product that somebody ordered. Once again, very familiar interface with inside Fusion 360 Manage, same icons and so on that we have right with inside Variant. Okay. So just looking at the workflow again as well. Okay, so once we get back into the workflow area, we have the ability to kind of move that through its workflow process as well. Okay. So I can send this through and I can save that step and move it through the workflow and move it down the line. Okay, so as I move that down the line, I then have the ability, we don't have this integrated right now, but I could integrate this into an ERP and work through, moving it through into production. Okay. So that kind of really, just kind of goes through and talks a little bit about, what variant is and how it can improve your sales cycles all the way through into production. Okay. So once again, web-based, improving your sales cycle times, getting your professional quotes integrated with Fusion Manage and ERPs, and using Inventor iLogic. Okay, just a little bit of discussion here on just some pricing, right? So the administrator license for Inventor for Variant, $4,500 for the subscription for the year, which allows you to add the products. It allows you to do everything that you need to do as an administrator within Variant. Obviously, we have a user subscription. So for salespeople, we don't want them to have ability to do everything they can within the administrator license. So we've added a kind of a watered down license for those users where they can go through and create quotes and create configurations, maybe download a drawing. Maybe you don't want to download the parts and pieces. You don't want to give them abilities to do that. They do have setup options available, so helping you through, right? Training you how to load the products into Variant. We want to teach you how to use the product so you can go through and upload all of your own products and move forward in that direction. So, and we do have enterprise and customer facing options available. So if you want to open this up to your customers or a dealer network or so on, where maybe, a user subscription might not work for you as a model, we do have an enterprise option available. So just give us a call to talk about that enterprise option. And at that, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. And once again, if there are any questions as we're going, as we kind of end this off, if there's any questions at all, just put them into the panel. We'll leave it open for a few minutes just to see if there are any questions. So I do thank everybody attending today for their time. Hopefully this is a very informative session for you. All right, I'll just give it another minute just to see if there are any questions from anybody that's attending today. I'll just give it another minute or so, and then I'll give everybody a lot of time back in their day. All right. You know what? I really appreciate everybody's time once again today. If there are any questions, you think of something afterwards, obviously my contact information is here, or reach out to your SolidCAD rep that you're working with. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions, talk to you one-on-one, or go through any of that with you. So thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure. We'll speak soon. Thank you.